What are you seeing right now happening in the real estate market?
Well, it's just, it's a lot's going on. And we've got a bunch of debt. Single family is not going to, let's just start there, okay?
Yeah.
Very difficult to sell a house today. The only people selling homes, new homes are selling for less than existing homes are. And the reason that is because the new homes are subsidizing the rate. They're buying the rate down from 6.5 down to 5.5 or even lower.
Mm-hmm.
They're subsidizing down payments. And Bill down the street that wants to sell his house, the guy that wants to sell his house here can't do that, or he doesn't think he can. So the sellers aren't creative enough to offer financing, so they just lower their price, and they can't get the price low enough to actually bring the buyers in. Now, mortgage rates look like they want to fall off the ledge right here.
Yeah, they just dropped below 6.
Yeah. So they're below 6. I think they go down to 4. I think they're going to just collapse here in the next 6 months.
What do you think that's going to...
And if that happens, then the housing market will be... Real estate agents will start making money again. Brokers will start making money again. Mortgage brokers.
So does that mean then you are bullish long-term for single-family homes?
No.
Because if mortgage rates drop, don't you think that all of a sudden then affordability comes back and that the buyer can now pay what the seller wants?
Yeah, I think what happens in the beginning, contrary, is I think that if rates fall off the cliff, if they would come down really fast, which is what Trump wants.
Yeah.
And the first thing that would happen is prices would come down, not go up. If rates dropped, I think what happens, now most people don't agree with this, I think the supply is going to go so high. So many people are going to be like, okay, now's the time to sell our house. The supply is going to increase so much that everybody's going to be like, I'll drop my price right now because I want to move into that other house.
So to then secure another low interest loan?
Yeah, exactly. They're trying to move to something. Right now, look, for a sale to take place, there has to be motivation on both parties. So for me to compromise my price, I got to want to go do something else. And right now there's no urgency to compromise my price because I have no place to go. The moment I have some place to go, then I compromise my expectation for what I want for my house because I want to go to this other place so bad. And that doesn't exist in the system right now. You got to have supply. You got to have a lot of supply. You got to have tremendous demand. And you also have to have an urgency by both parties to say, I'm ready to roll right now because I get a low rate, not a low price. By the way, I'd rather a low rate than a low price all day long. This is what Trump wants, by the way. He doesn't want to destroy the equity in the housing. There's about $38 trillion equity sitting in homes, and he doesn't want to destroy that. He could. He doesn't want to do that because that would hurt your parents. It would hurt anybody that owns a home. What he wants to do is drop the rate, maintain the equity, and have people be able to afford a home.
So what do you think is the best way to make money in real estate in 2026? Or is it just waiting?
Well, it's not the single family home. If you force me though into the single family home and said, look, you grant, how would you make money in single family homes? Well, I would pick 3 or 4 cities. Miami would be one of them. And I'd say, I'd probably go do, as much as I hate this concept, but you're saying short term, you just want to make some money. I'd go flip old 80s homes in Miami in certain locations in 5 or 6 different pockets. You need a place where there's old inventory. There's old 80s, 8-foot ceilings, old kitchens, and you'd go in, rehab them, and pick up $15,000 or $20,000 a unit. But the problem is you need some money to do that. You're not going to need a mortgage. You need some money to flip that house, and you need guts. And now you're back in a sales game. Now you got to buy it. You got to try to steal the house. You're calling on 100 people to get 1 or 2 deals, not 100 people to get 40 deals. So that's why the AI thing and the social media thing would be such much greater return than me trying to get you to sell me your house that you just bought.
Those would still be active ways to make money, though. Like, you're spending your time making money. What about passive income? Like, if you're going to deploy your capital in any asset, would real estate be the optimal asset class, or what would be?
I didn't know I had any money. I didn't know I had any money. I thought I was broke.
Well, let's just say someone's out there, they're working a job that they went to college for, they're making $75,000, $80,000 a year, and they don't want to change career paths, and they have this disposable income that they want to invest somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, that's a different play. So you're describing me when I was 29 years old. I'm making $80,000 a year. I have 30,000 left over. I do that 2 years in a row. I do it 3 years in a row. I got $90,000. I'm not overspending. I live like him, very frugal. He watches every $12 that he spends, every $1, every 10 cents. And so I'm banking money over here. I don't know what to do with it. And then I started buying real estate. So I started using that real estate to leverage. I would go buy, but it wouldn't be a single family home. It would be at least 4 units. Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac today have a 5% program where you can buy 4 units. It's limited to the 4 units and $1 million. I think it's $1,390,000. 5% down. So on a $1 million 4-unit complex, you could put 50 grand down. On 200 grand, you could put $10,000 down and you'd get 4 units of cash flow. But you're not getting rich, dude. You basically took $5,000. You have 4 units. You're the manager.
Mm-hmm.
You got to go collect $6,000 a month, 4 times $1,500. You're going to have to fix the place, garden the place, collect the checks, evict people, look at lease notices, qualify people, like fix the plumbing.
So that
ain't passive, bro.
What would you recommend to someone who has maybe 30 or 40K in money that they can invest somewhere? They're able to save a little bit of money at the end of every month.
Yeah.
Where should they deploy that?
Well, I'd say invest it with me, but it's not enough.
You can't
money.
say that. That's the one thing.
It's not enough money, so I don't need to say it.
Where would they be putting that money?
I would do what I just said. I would do the 4-unit deal and suffer and go do 10 up. I'd do 4 units. I'd take $5,000. I'd buy 4 units. And then I'd go do a second one and a third one. I'd do them. If I could do them on the same block, I would do them on the same block. Now, what are you buying now? 4 units. It was built in 1970. It's old, shitty 4 units. That's all they built back in the 70s. They were building 4 units. In the 80s, they're like, hey, let's build 8 units. And then they built 8s. And then they said, let's build 16. So you'll see them by age. Today, they're only building 350 units. Oh. So you'll see these big complexes going vertical. But that's what I would do. Now, is it fast money? No, it's just a little bit of drip. The 30 grand's going to earn them maybe $3,000 a year. So you traded 30 grand for $3,000 of income. And most people won't do that. They're like, I want my 30 grand. Your 30 grand's going to be worth 3 grand here in the next 10 years. They're just going to keep printing money. So you need to convert your cash, the 30K, into something more valuable. In this case, it was, let's say, $150,000 of real estate. 30 grand, leverage, 20% down, about $150,000 property. The value of that property is going to go up as they print money, but it's just a drip. You're only earning 3 grand a month. You're earning, $250 a month. You're like, this is not a deal. I traded 30 grand for $250 a month. I would do that trade, but most people watching this are going to say $250 is nothing. So they won't do it. But you would never say just $250 because you're a miser.
$250 if you save that over 30 years, invested at a 7% return, that's over $1 million.
Yeah. So $12 to
there you go.
Him, right?
Exactly.
So that's why he's going to Korea he got them perks.
So what do you think is the biggest risk?
A really scary truth is just how vulnerable your digital life is, and most people have no idea until it's too late, and then they're stuck spending several hours trying to solve a problem that they did not create. So don't be like my roommate Kevin, because I kid you not, his identity got stolen 2 years ago, and guess who's still paying for it? Me. Because the one thing he still can't recover is his Venmo.
See, the trouble with identity theft and fraud is that it doesn't happen all at once. And by the time you notice, usually the damage is done.
And that's exactly where our sponsor, OmniWatch, comes in. It catches problems early by keeping an eye on your identity, credit, financial accounts, and online activity altogether. And the best part is that setting it up only takes a few minutes, and then from there, it works quietly in the background all day, every day.
OmniWatch monitors your credit activity, data breaches, and the dark web using AI-powered detection tools that are able to spot suspicious activity in real time. If it finds something unusual, you get an alert that tells you exactly what happened and the next steps to take.
You can lock your credit, secure all of your accounts, and fight fraud with just one click. If identity theft does occur, OmniWatch connects you with US-based specialists to restore your identity and handle the damage with up to $2 million in identity theft insurance.
So head on over to omniwatch.com/iced to get 50% off of your first month and see for yourself if your information's actually secure.
Seriously, guys, the peace of mind is worth it. Protect your credit, identity, and online data today. Again, that is 50% off your first month at omniwatch.com/iced.
So what do you think is the biggest risk to housing prices over the next few years?
I think the biggest risk is that, the baby boomer dies.
Don't they then pass off their wealth?
Yeah, they're going to pass it off. They're going to pass it. The 3 of us, we're brothers, and our parents die. The last parent dies, and their home is in Shreveport, Louisiana. And we get the notice, you live in LA, you live in Las Vegas and I live in Miami. Oh my God, he died. Okay, we go in, we see the will. You guys get to split the house. He has no other assets. Do you want to move to Shreveport and live in the house?
I will not.
Do you want to live in
No, I
Shreveport?
wouldn't.
Largest
We'd sell it.
flying roaches in the world.
Right.
Live in Shreveport.
How do you know that?
Because I lived in Louisiana.
Okay.
I dated a girl there. So, and she came with roaches, by the way. It was worth it.
Oh my God.
But, oh my gosh. And we're going to be like, dude, what's the house worth? Okay. We haven't even buried our father yet. And we're like, what's the house worth? Somebody says, maybe 200. Okay. The housing market sucks right now. So we're going to list it. And one of you guys is going to get, like, I got time. No problem, guys. Whenever it sells, I'm fine. And then you guys are like, sell it. Drop the price. We're going to have a phone call a month later. Hey, guys, drop the price. You and me are going to be like, just drop the price, right? Because to you, it's found money. We have no emotional connection or attachment to the house. We're not living in it. It's getting degraded. The kitchen's old. The ceilings are bad. The real estate agent that got the listings now going to tell you, oh my God, you need to paint it. You need to take all the furniture out. We need to reset it up. We need to refurnish it. All that's going to cost money, guys. It's going to be $6,000 to do that. All the three of us need to each come up with $2,000. And you're like, hey, fuck it. Sell the fucking house. Just sell it. That's my biggest concern, is that you're going to have tens of millions of people all dying in a period of 12 months. Okay. We got 10,000 baby boomers dropping out of the workforce every day. Then you're going to have them dropping like flies, all hitting in their 80s, their 90s, dropping, just dying. Or they don't die. They go to senior housing or they go to dementia. I can't remember myself, who I am. I don't remember any of the great things I've done in life. I don't remember any of the interviews we did together. Grant Cardone, forgot that he's Grant Cardone, right? And Bruce Willis.
Oh, it's terrible.
It's terrible, dude. Like, but it's going to it could happen to me or you know, or our parents. And so nobody cares about the house anymore. That guts single family homes. The other part that concerns me is the guys that are your age don't really want this responsibility that you have, this acre here. So you got 75 million baby boomers that have no interest in home housing. They're dying off. They're not going to buy a new house. They have zero. They're going to spend less money here in the last 25 years of their life than they spent at any other period in their life. They're not spenders. They're not travelers. They're not going to fix the house. They're not going to Costco or Home Depot to, put on a new look. They're not buying new furniture. They don't need it. They don't want any changes. So you got that third that's dying out, and you got the bottom third entering in that doesn't really want to own that home.
What's the flip side to that? Is there a bullish case where maybe AI makes things so deflationary, interest rates go low, everyone, like, what's the flip side to that?
Man, I don't see it.
So you think everyone at some point is probably going to live in a big multifamily?
I do.
Because that's all that they can afford? Or is that just...
I think because they're going to, it's a more desirable, you only, most of the population's in top 20 cities. 80% of America lives east of the Mississippi River. Only 20% lives on this side of the world, of the United States. Top 20 cities control most of the population. So we don't have a shortage of housing in this country. There's no shortage. It's just a lie. That's a complete lie. I think there's 11 or 12% of the single family housing supply is abandoned homes or empty. There absolutely is no housing shortage. There's another 12% of multifamily that is vacant right now today, maybe higher than that. We got multifamily with the highest occupancy that I've seen in probably 20 years. So you have probably somewhere between 4.5 million single family homes and maybe 5 million multifamily that are vacant right now. Somebody can move into. So like Trump sent somebody to my office 3.5 weeks ago and said, "What would you do?" I said, "I would give an incentive to all the vacancy in this country to occupy that house. If you have a vacant home, nobody's living in it, give some kind of tax incentive. You move somebody into that house, set them up to own that house, and you'll pay no taxes on the income. It would help the people that own those homes, fill those homes, and it would help the new guy that doesn't have a home that wants a home. You don't need to build homes to solve that problem."